Act 4, Scene 7. Another room in the beautiful castle pictured here. We have the king and Laertes in conversation. And we are entering into the middle of their conversation, and we can see that the king has been explaining to Laertes that it's not his fault that his father Polonius died. Now must your conscience my acquittal seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he hath your noble father slain pursued my life. It well appears, but tell me, why you proceeded not against these feats so crimeful and so capital in nature, as by your safety, wisdom, all thing else you mainly were stirred up. They're saying, why didn't you do anything if Hamlet tried to kill you? Oops. Oh, for two special reasons, which may to you perhaps seem much unsinewed, but yet to me they're strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks, and for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she's so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, I could not but by her. The other motive, why to a public count I might not go, is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, would, like the spring that turneth wood to stone, convert his gyves to graces, so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I had aimed them. So he's saying, well, for one, the queen, I couldn't kill my wife's son because the queen loves him so much. And secondly, the public love him so much, I couldn't do that. And so, I have a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises may go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come. Break not your sleeps for that. You must not think we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and think it pastime. You shortly shall hear more. I loved your father, and we love ourself, and that I hope will teach you to imagine. Oh, how now? What news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet, thus to your majesty, thus to the queen.
From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them of him that brought them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon, thereunto recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. What should this mean? Are all the rest come back? Or is it some abuse and no such thing? Know you the hand? 'Tis Hamlet's character. Naked. And a postscript here he says alone. Can you advise me? I'm lost in it, my lord, but let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart that I shall live and tell him to his teeth, thus diest thou. If it be so, Laertes, as how should it be so, how otherwise, will you be ruled by me? Ay, my lord, say you will not overrule me to a peace. To thine own peace. If he be now returned, as checking at his voyage, and that he means no more to undertake it, I will work him to an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall, and for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, and even his mother shall uncharge the practice, and call it accident. My lord, I will be ruled. The rather if you could devise it so that I might be the organ. It falls right. You have been talked of since you travel much, and that in Hamlet's hearing, for a quality wherein they say you shine. Your sum of parts did not together pluck such envy from him as did that one, and in my regard of the unworthiest siege. What part is that, my lord? A very ribbon in the cap of youth, yet needful too. For youth no less becomes the light and careless livery that it wears than settled age his sables and his weeds importing health and graveness. 2 months since here was a gentleman of Normandy. I've seen myself and served against the French, and they can well on horseback, but this gallant had witchcraft in it. He grew onto his seat, and to such wondrous doing brought his horse as if he had been encorpsed and demi-natured with the brave beast. So far he topped my thought that I, in forgery of shapes and tricks, came short of what he did. A Norman, was it? A Norman. Upon my life, Lamord. The very same. I know him well. He's the brooch indeed, and gem of all the nation. He made confession of you, and gave you such a masterly report, for art and exercise in your defence, and for that your rapier most especial, that he cried out, 'Twould be a sight indeed if one could match you. The scrimmers of their nation, he swore, had neither motion, guard, nor eye, if you opposed them. Sir, this report of his did Hamlet so envenom with his envy that he could do nothing but wish and beg your sudden coming over to play with him. Now, out of this... What out of this, my lord? Laertes, was your father dear to you, or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart? Why ask you this? Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know love is begun by time, and that I see in passages of proof, time qualifies the spark and fire of it. There lives within the very flame of love a kind of wick or snuff that will abate it, and nothing is at a like goodness still, for goodness, glowering to a pleurisy, dies in his own too much. That we would do. We should do when we would. For this would changes and hath abatements and delays as many as there are tongues, our hands, our accidents, and then this should is like a spendthrift sigh that hurts by easing. But to the quick of the ulcer. Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son in deed more than in words? To cut his throat in the church. No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But good Laertes, will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned shall know you are come home. We'll put on those shall praise your excellent, and set a double varnish on the fame the Frenchman gave you, bring you in fine together, and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease, or with a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a passive practice requite him for your father. I will do it, and for that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gull him slightly, it may be death. Let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both of time and means may fit us to our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold if this did blast in proof. Soft, let me see. We'll make a solemn wager on your cunnings. I have it! When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to the end, and that he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if he but by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there. But stay, what noise? La 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 la. How now, sweet queen? One woe doth tread upon another's heel. So fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes. Drowned? Oh, where? There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoary leaves in the glassy stream. Therewith fantastic garlands did she make of curl flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples, that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, on the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clamoring to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lauds, as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death. Alas, then, she is drowned. Drowned. Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and yet therefore I forbid my tears, and yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds, let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord, I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it. Let's follow, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will give it start again, therefore let's follow. Okay, so let's talk about what was going on in this scene a little bit. So the king and Laertes are talking. The king has convinced Laertes that he's not the one that killed Polonius. He had nothing to do with the murder, and that really, one, it was Hamlet, and that Hamlet is dangerous. Hamlet tried to kill the king. Hamlet has ruined Ophelia, and so he is egging Laertes on so that Laertes can kill him, because the king knows that he can't kill Hamlet. That looks too bad. He already murdered the original king in the first place. He can't kill Hamlet. Also, the queen loves her son, and her husband already murdered her first husband, so he can't do that, and the people love him. He knows that would ruin his throne. But if he can get Laertes to kill him, that's another thing. So he's talking, and then meanwhile, a messenger comes and brings the king the letter from the sailors/pirates that we saw in the last scene with, what's his name? What's Hamlet's friend's name? It's not Hercules, Horatio. Okay, so they bring a letter, and it's Hamlet writing to the king saying that he's going to be back tomorrow. So the king is not happy about that, and he doesn't know what went wrong with his plan. So that's a bit disturbing to him. So now the king is saying, Laertes, do you really love your father? Because if you really do, you should take revenge now. Don't wait, because you'll end up not doing it. You won't take revenge, and all you'll have left is regret and grief. So Laertes says, yes, I'm ready to take revenge. So the king and Laertes make a plan. Laertes has poison that he's going to put on his sword, and then if he just stabs Hamlet with it, then Hamlet will die instantly. And the king says, okay, that's good, but if we try that and he doesn't die, it would be better if we hadn't tried at all. So we need a backup plan. Okay, so sorry, I'm skipping ahead a bit. They made a plan. Laertes is known to be a good what's that called? Good at fencing. Okay, on horseback, he's good at fencing. So Hamlet and Laertes are going to fence just for a sporting competition, but Laertes is going to put poison on his sword and stab him. But what if that doesn't work? We need a backup plan. So page 99. The king says, I know, we'll prepare a poisoned chalice, a poisoned goblet for Hamlet to drink. So when he gets thirsty, we'll give him this poison, and then he will drink that. Nothing could possibly go wrong there. Okay, so then the queen comes in, and she's distressed, and she tells Laertes that his sister has been drowned. It doesn't seem to be suicide per se. she says that she was picking flowers and making garlands out of flowers, and then she fell into the brook face first, and then she's just laying there, and her clothes kind of are making her float, and she's just laying in the water singing songs, and then eventually her clothes get so saturated with water that she drowns. Now we have to ask, how does the queen know all of this? Did she watch her? Did she see her do this and she didn't stop her? It's a bit suspicious, I think. How would she know all these details? If she had just found her in the water, she wouldn't have known what had happened. But she knows a lot of details, so that's a bit suspicious. Okay, Laertes cries, and he's embarrassed by his tears, but he says he's just so upset he's going to cry, and then he goes off. So he is prepared to act. Okay, so that is the end of Act 4. Now, so we had, I think, 7 scenes, so there's a lot happening in this act. Where did this one start? Okay, so what you guys need to do now is reread this whole act. It's been pretty spread out, so we've done it over a period of, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So you'll have to reread that and reread your summaries and just get a good sense of what's going on. And then we will have our quiz. We're going to have it on Monday, so it's not for a little while, but it will give you lots of time to reread it and know the act really, really well. So we'll have a Google Forms quiz like last time, except this time I'm going to set it up so you have a short period of time to write your quiz in. And you will be allowed your book, but you're not allowed looking things up online. So, okay, so let me know if you have questions, but for now you can summarize Act 4, Scene 7, and that will be due Wednesday night, and you can be preparing for the quiz on Monday. Thanks for watching.